Okay, so we hear about Gen AI all the time, right? But what's the real story in finance? I mean, how is it actually being used today? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. We're talking about how this tech is completely changing the game, taking finance pros from just being buried in data to actually digging up real, game-changing insights. So, let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? You're just drowning in spreadsheets, dashboards everywhere, numbers coming at you from all sides. You've got all this data, more than you know what to do with. But the real question is, what does any of it mean? It's like classic problem, right? Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. And believe it or not, there's actually a name for this problem. It's called the data to insight gap. And really, it's just a fancy way of describing all that brutal manual work, all those hours you spend trying to turn a boring column of numbers into a story, something your leadership team can actually look at and say, okay, I get it, let's make a decision. For so many people in finance, that translation process, it's the biggest time suck of their entire job. And this is where you can really see the massive shift that's happening. I mean, look at this. On the one hand, you've got the old way. You're wrestling with spreadsheets, fighting with BI dashboards, a process that could take you hours, maybe even days. But then you look at the new way. All of a sudden, AI is spitting out instant drafts of narratives, plain English explanations. Boom, just like that. We're moving away from tedious manual labor and into a world of strategic oversight. It's a total game changer. Okay, so how does this actually work? What does it look like in the real world? Well, the first big thing is using generative AI as a storyteller, really. It's all about turning those complicated numbers into stories that actually make sense. And we're talking about real, concrete stuff here that saves a ton of time. Think about your monthly variance analyses. Instead of you digging for the answer, the AI just tells you why the numbers missed the forecast. Or imagine getting instant cash flow summaries, or even a first draft of your entire board pack, complete with commentary. The key here is that it's not just telling you what happened, it's finally answering that all-important question, why? Here's a perfect, everyday example. Someone asks, hey, why did gross margin drop? In the old days, that one question would set off a fire drill, right? You'd have an analyst frantically digging through data, trying to cross-reference sales numbers with cost of goods sold, checking logistics reports. I mean, you know the drill. It's a total scramble. But now, it's a totally different story. With an AI copilot right there in your tools, the whole process is transformed. The AI does the detective work. It traces that drop in gross margin all the way back to the source. Maybe it was a change in your product mix, or maybe you were running too many discounts, or heck, maybe it was new logistics fees. The AI figures it out and then writes up a simple explanation for a human. That's you, to review, tweak, and sign off on. Simple as that. And this is just the beginning, because it's not just about your own internal data. This same idea extends outward. The next huge use case is turning AI into this incredible research assistant. It's about taking all that work that relies on outside information and putting it on hyperdrive. Just take a look at what the new workflow looks like. Step 1, the AI does all the heavy lifting. It scans through mountains of messy data. We're talking earnings call transcripts, SEC filings, news articles. Then it pulls out the important stuff, the KPIs, the risk factors, what the company is saying about the future. After that, it drafts a summary for you, and get this, it even includes the citations. And only then, for the most critical step, the human analyst comes in to review it, add their expertise, and send it off. And the impact of this is it's huge, especially if you're in a client-facing role. Just imagine for a second you're a relationship manager. Instead of spending hours, you can create personalized portfolio summaries for every single one of your clients in moments. And here's the really crucial part. You can draft emails to them that are automatically checked for compliance. Think about the time saved, and more importantly, the risk you're taking off the table. Okay, so the benefits are pretty obvious, right? It saves time, it's efficient, but, and this is a big but, we're talking about finance. It's a super regulated industry. None of this cool stuff is even possible if you don't have a rock-solid focus on safety and control. So that brings us to the bottom line, the real-world impact and the essential guardrails that make this whole thing safe to use. When you boil it all down, what's the number one impact? It's simple. Hours. We are talking about saving an unbelievable number of hours every single reporting cycle. But it's not just about being faster. It's about being more accurate, too. Think about all those dumb manual copy-paste errors that always seem to sneak into reports. This helps get rid of those. And none of this happens by magic. It's only possible because of something called guardrails. And you should really think of these like the safety features in your car. They're the absolute non-negotiable systems built into an enterprise AI to keep it on the road. This is not the free-for-all AI you play with on the internet. This is a lockdown, secure, controlled system built specifically for the high-stakes world of finance. So what do these guardrails actually do? Well, first off, the AI has to cite its sources for everything it says, so you can always check its work. Second, it can only use approved company data. It's not allowed to just go wandering around the web. Third, every single thing, every prompt, every answer is logged. That means you have a perfect audit trail. And probably the most important rule of all, a human being always has to give the final okay before anything goes out the door. It's all about keeping things under control and making sure someone is accountable. And this really gets to the heart of the matter. The whole point of generative AI in finance is not to replace people. It's not about getting rid of the analyst or the advisor. It's about giving them a super-powered assistant, a trustworthy co-pilot that's totally compliant and can handle all the boring, tedious stuff. This frees up the human experts to do what they do best, focus on strategy, build relationships, and use their judgment. So I want to leave you with a thought. If the AI can now handle the what happened and even the why did it happen, just think about all the time and mental energy that frees up. The really exciting part is the next question. What new, bigger, more strategic questions can finance leaders finally start asking? The questions that will actually drive the business forward. Because that's where the real revolution is going to happen.